Devin will be the guy to be the initiate offense. I know there'll be multiple ball handlers, but how you feel like Devin, who has done that for periods, will be able to handle that in that role with this group?
I mean, Devin's a player. I mean, he's been able to figure out how to be effective on the ball, off the ball. When you add him plus Brad and the guys that we don't really talk about, Jordan Goodwins of our team, the Eric Gordons of our team, we have more than enough ball handling. And when you have great players, they find a way to make great plays. So I'm excited about the opportunity for him, and I can tell you he's not going to complain about having the ball in his hands more. So we're looking forward to that.
Okay. And then obviously with the trade, obviously much as obviously talked about Aiden, but what do you feel like you guys are getting in Nurkic in return that's going to, because Matt talked about fit, so could you just elaborate on that, on how you think the fit will be with Nurkic at center? I
mean, Nurk's going to be great for us. You know, his skill set complements our best guys, and more importantly, he's ready to win. He's been in a situation the last few years where they're just playing to try to get to where we are, but we're playing to win championships. And if you get a really good player who's motivated and you give them an opportunity to win a title, you usually see the best versions of those players. And so I know we talk about Nurk, but we also got Nasir. We targeted Grayson as someone who could help us, Keon. All those guys collectively, they make us a better team. And so we make decisions that we know will make us better. And when we see those opportunities, we go and attack it.
Talk about the vision of Ishbia and you carrying out his vision. I know you spoke on that before. How big is that, just having that connectivity with him and knowing, okay, this is what he wants, and it's my job to go out and make the moves to please what we're trying to do as a team?
For me, it's phenomenal. Rarely do you get a chance to have someone whose visions and goals line up with yours. Like, make no mistake about it. We're about winning. I want to win games. I'm not trying to win the media. I'm not trying to win press conferences. I just want to win games. It takes a lot of winning to win a title. And Matt believes that and understands that it takes a lot, an investment in the people across the organization. So when you talk about the investments we've made in business operations and basketball operations for the Suns, it gives you all the tools you need to go out there and execute. And so if we can execute, we'll do what we all dream of doing, which is winning a title, and we'll be able to bring a title to Phoenix for the first time in franchise history.
Hey, James. Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports, over here in the front. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
With the moves that you've made since you've taken this position, it's been very clear what a Suns player is. We see it on the court, the attributes that you look for. Has that changed at all with the change in head coach, or is it still the same types of things you're looking for? Does it change with Frank as opposed to Monty's?
No, it's the same. You know, the roster's different, but the ingredients are the same. It takes toughness. It takes extreme discipline. It takes skill. It takes desire. You have to be tough to win a title. You have to go through the gauntlet of the NBA and the world's best players and come out on top. So that hasn't changed. I just have a coach right now who understands those things, who really embraces the challenge of making sure that we're exceptional at the small things, the basics, the details that a lot of times are overlooked. Those things make you robust. And when you add elite talent like we have on top of that, it just gives you a better shot. And that's all we want. We want a chance to be there at the end against the game's best players with a team and with a coach that understands and knows what it takes.
Hey, James, Gerald Bourguet, good to see you.
Good to see you.
After the trades, obviously you guys had kind of limited means on the money side to work with, you know, signing free agents. How do you like the way that you guys were able to round out the roster and bring in some of the guys that you did?
Well, I mean, I was ecstatic the moment we were able to bring these things together, but understand the work's never done. We'll just find creative ways. We'll continue to be aggressive and attack all of those constraints that are put in front of us when you're trying to build a great team. So it's the business, right? Like, some people are looking to do things and be comfortable and say, hey, we did it. Now let's roll it out and see what it looks like. My mentality is different. Like, let's continue to build. And when we do something, let's find a way to make it better, because there's always a better way. There's always a way to improve. And if you put those types of people, players, in a room, you can do great things.
Greg Moore, Arizona Republic, over here, James.
Hey, Greg.
How's it going, man?
Great.
What will you be able to say to the new guys, right? about the amount of attention that they're about to receive. You've been around franchises, you've been on teams that everybody paid attention to. Phoenix is now in that echelon. What's it going to be like, or what can you say to players to prepare themselves for the level of attention and scrutiny that they're about to get?
You rarely get a chance to be in this position. And so don't take it for granted, embrace it, and attack it, right? Like, no one plays this game to come in second. You know, everyone wants to be first. Everyone wants to lift the trophy. You want to win. And so you legitimately have a chance to win. Just bring it every day. Every day you come into the building, think about how you can move us closer to a title.
Hey, James. Mark McClune, Arizona's family, right here.
Hey, good to see you.
Why? Yeah, good to see you too. Why was it time to move DeAndre Ayton?
Because we saw an opportunity to get better. There is never a perfect time to make a move, but there always are moments where you can evaluate, is this a pivot point where we can improve? And I thought that was the case. DeAndre's a tremendous player. Like I said before, we don't reach the heights that we reached without DeAndre and the guys that were with us on those prior teams. But this is a new team, and all teams evolve. And when you add talent, when you add new players, the team shifts. And when the team shifts, you have a choice. You can stand still or you can improve. And so we chose the latter.
James, Richard Sines, Fox 10. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you again.
Matt was up here, and his energy is amazing. He says all the right things, but it's not just, obviously, I'll talk with this guy. The action's there as well. What's it like to have an owner that is not worried about money and not worried about anything but winning and telling, guys like yourself and Josh, like, look, let's do what we have to do to win and worry about the money later. How great is that as a GM to be able
It's
to go
awesome,
out there?
but you have to eat and you have to sleep because his energy is relentless, right? But it's great because a lot of times when you're thinking about, we can overthink things a lot in this business where you try to overanalyze, do I do this, should I do this, who should I play, and all these other things. And Matt's like, hey, just make a decision and get after it. And you'll have all the resources that you need, but more importantly, you'll have my attention. And that helps you. So when we talk about the decision-making process here in Phoenix, how it's different from other places, we have three people, myself, Josh, and Matt, who are constantly thinking all day, 24/7, how do we improve our team? And so when I'm asleep, he's up on the East Coast thinking about how we improve. And when Josh is asleep, I'm up in the Pacific Northwest at a game thinking about how we can improve. And vice versa. Josh is always, as the CEO of this company, thinking about how do we improve the business and basketball. And so it's great because I don't feel there are any gaps. And sometimes those gaps will prevent you from being elite.
James, Amin Al-Hassan, Meadowlark Media.
Hey, Amin.
What's up, James? How's it going?
Good.
How long were you guys engaged with Portland on a deal for Nurkic? And then generically, what's been the hardest part of this offseason for you?
We were engaged with them long enough to make a deal. And that's my answer for that. What was the second part of your question?
It was, what's been the hardest part of this offseason for you?
Just waiting, right? Like we made some big moves. We've acquired some really good people across the board, some competitive people, and like I've been waiting for the opportunity to see them in training camp, to see them compete and go after each other. Because as much as it seems like it's nice, we have three guys at the top of our roster that are fighting to be the best versions of themselves, and that's pretty cool to watch. And so I'm just looking forward to training camp getting started and us playing real games where we can really lock in and focus on who we are and continue to build the chemistry necessary to win in the playoffs. Because that's all we're looking at right now is how can we build the necessary chemistry to win in the playoffs.
James, Doug Haller with The Athletic over here.
Hey, Doug.
Good to see you. Matt Ishbia takes over last February. New ideas, new leader. There are speculation about his leadership team. Was there ever a time where you wondered about your future here in Phoenix? And if so, how did you approach that?
Well, to be candid, I think about my future all the time because I hold myself to a standard. Like if I'm in a position where I'm not helping this team win, I'm thinking, am I doing my job, right? And when you're talking about being dependable and being a teammate and being someone that has to be on point for things to come together, internally you think about it. But as far as like worrying about my future? No. If you do that, like, you're looking backwards. I'm always looking forward. If I do my job and we do the things that I think we can, everything will take care of itself. You know, we'll do what I set out to do when I took this job and I made the transition from being a player to being an executive. I want to be a part of a team or lead a team to a championship. And that's my only focus. And if I'm not doing that, I'm not doing the job. And what comes with that, I'm cool with.
Dana Scott from Arizona Republic. How's it going, James?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Last year, the bench scoring was a concern from the preseason, through the playoffs. And so obviously there's a different team this year, but how important is this preseason to prove that chemistry with this new team?
I mean, well, I do think that it's always important. If you look at the stats for NBA teams, you need bench scoring. But I don't think it has to come from the bench. I think that's just your second lineup scoring. And that's part of the reason we made the push for Brad. If we can leave one of our elite scorers on the floor with our secondary lineup, you supplement that with really good backup players or guys at the second level of the rotation. It just gives you the ability to score with your second unit. And you have to be able to do that because we can't expect our top guys to have it every night. And we have to win that game with our second unit. So it's always a concern for me. It's always something that we think about. Is that an external is there an external solution or an internal solution? I think right now we have a blend of both with the acquisitions that we've made.
James, over here. Dave King with SB Nation Brightside. There's only one player left and one assistant coach left from the NBA Finals appearance, and then there's only 5 left basically from the last time you guys suited up. How difficult was it for you to let go of the guys who got you to the finals and let go of that core who got you so far in the last couple of years to make all these changes?
From a personal perspective, it's always tough whenever you change teammates, right? Like you do a lot with them. Like you overcome a lot of struggles. You put in a lot of time, a lot of sweat equity. All those things are true, but that's backward looking. Like I can't afford to look backwards. There's too much attention that needs to be paid going forward. So it's a part of the game. It's a part of the business. And as teams grow, they change. And we've grown, and so we've changed. But I still believe that no matter like where we are, where we've been, our future is bright, and that's where we all have to look.
Hi, James. Doug Franz Unplugged, WTSMTV.com. You said earlier you targeted Grayson Allen. You thought he could help. You know his reputation. Some people say play with an edge. Other people say dirty. Do you embrace that edge? Do you think this team needs a Grayson Allen, or do you want him to work on changing that perception?
I just think the mentality, it's not a player individually. Like, we just need a tough mentality. And yeah, you have to play on the edges. I'm not talking about being reckless. We'll never, ever encourage a player to injure someone. Like, you can compete without being reckless. I just think that for us, our environment will dictate how our guys behave. Our actions will matter. You know, like you'll see, like that's not who we are. That's not who we've ever been. And players usually adjust. They'll adapt. And I'm pretty sure Grayson knows that if he's surrounded by players that push it, he maybe doesn't have to push as hard. But collectively as a group, yeah, we're going to play with an edge. Thank you.